107.3 FM. This is Malcolm Drake. I'm still here. I don't even know how to begin anymore. Not because I don't have anything to say, but because there's too much. And it all feels heavy, like you're trying to hold your breath underwater, but you're already out of air and you can't find the surface. It's quiet tonight. Outside, I mean. You'd think that would be comforting, but this kind of silence, it doesn't soothe you. It doesn't give you peace. It presses on your skull like something's watching, like something's waiting. And you just know the moment you speak too loud or breathe too hard, it'll hear you. If this signal's reaching you, drop the first word you hear me say. Prove you're tuned in. The clock says 2:41 a.m. Temperature dropped again, sitting at 38 degrees Fahrenheit, but the wind chill makes it feel colder. The walls are starting to sweat, and the backup generator's been running on fumes for hours. I got the power routed just to keep the mic and transmitter going. If the lights cut out mid-sentence, I won't be surprised. Still better than outside. I keep thinking I should try to move. Find higher ground, better signal. But that would mean passing the basement stairs. I don't go near the basement anymore. I'm broadcasting from just outside Asheville, North Carolina, a little hilltop station we used to use for weather alerts and community notices. It's laughable now, thinking how small the world used to feel, how everything used to be manageable, explainable. Power outage due to storms. Flooding expected in low-lying areas. School closed Monday. That was the world. Neat, boring, stable. It broke so slowly we didn't realize we were already inside the nightmare until it was far too late to wake up. I remember the first thing that felt wrong. Not wrong like a gut feeling, but wrong in that way where your mind goes blank and you just stare. I was driving home from town, maybe 3 weeks ago now. There was this woman in the middle of the road, just standing there barefoot in a nightgown, middle of the day. It was hot, sunny, normal. I stopped the car, rolled the window down, asked if she was okay. She didn't even turn her head. She just lifted her hand and pointed, not at me, but straight past me. And she said in the flattest voice I've ever heard, "It's below." That was it. No expression, no movement, just that single sentence. It's below. I looked behind me, just road and trees. When I turned back around, she was gone. I thought I imagined it. I really did. Until I got home and the lights wouldn't turn on. The TV kept flickering black even when it was off. And my phone. Jesus. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating even with no signal, no messages, just this constant buzzing, like it was screaming in Morse code. I unplugged everything, tried to sleep, and then the voices started. No. I know how that sounds. Voices. But I swear to God I am not crazy. I heard them. I still hear them. It started like whispers behind the walls. You'd think it was rats or the wind, but you know what wind sounds like. This was different. There were syllables in it. Names. Names that didn't make sense. Not names like John or Sarah. Names that scratched inside your ears. Names you'd never heard before, but somehow knew were meant for you. And they always came from below. The basement. I don't know what's in the basement. I'm not going to find out. Every time I stand at the top of the stairs, my body locks up. My legs shake. I swear something on the other side is holding its breath too, like it's waiting for me to cross the line. I locked the door, nailed it shut. I can still hear it. Other people started noticing strange things too. It wasn't just me. Power grids flickering across the county. Kids disappearing for hours and coming back unable to speak. Radio stations cutting into each other. 1 second you're listening to bluegrass. Next second you hear what sounds like a woman screaming underwater. Constant dead air, like someone's erasing the space around us. And then the government went silent. Not all at once. First, it was local. The town meetings canceled. The sheriff's office closed with no notice. Then the state alerts stopped coming in. Finally, the emergency alert system went off on every TV and radio at the same time. One single message. Black background, white letters, no voice. Do not acknowledge the names. That's all it said. No logo, no signature, nothing else. And then nothing. After that, it spread. The hospitals filled up with people who couldn't stop repeating phrases over and over again. Kids writing symbols into their skin. People standing still for hours staring at walls, unblinking, unmoving, and then just vanishing like they were never there. We always thought it'd be nuclear, or viral, or at worst, war. But it's not. It's older, it's underneath, and it's waking up. I've been trying to keep this station alive for those still out there. I don't know how many are left. I haven't heard another station in 2 days. No voices, no weather, not even static. Just blank, like the airwaves are being erased. The last contact I had was with a guy named Mason out near Knoxville. He used to run an old ham radio group. Said he picked up a low signal transmission on shortwave frequency 4625 kilohertz. The same number station that used to broadcast those coded Russian messages. Only now, it's not numbers. It's just the same word repeated over and over. Descent. Over and over. Descent. Sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but never stopping. And if you listen too long, your ears start to bleed. He recorded it. Sent it to me. I listened once. Once. Burned the tape after that. Couldn't sleep for 3 nights. Woke up with nosebleeds. One of my teeth cracked in my sleep. That was last week. Since then, the air's changed. It's like heavier. Like gravity's just a little stronger. Birds don't fly anymore. Haven't seen a single one in days. Not even buzzards. The animals that are left, they're hiding. The deer are gone. Squirrels. Rabbits. All gone. Only thing still moving is the flies, and they're bigger than they should be. Slower, too. Like they're drunk on something thick and invisible. A few nights ago, I saw a man standing on top of the old hardware store with a flare in his hand. He was naked, just holding it out toward the dark, like a signal. I called out. He didn't answer. He smiled at me, this wide, stretched smile that didn't match his eyes, and he said, "It already knows your name, Malcolm." Then he jumped. Didn't make a sound when he hit the pavement. I swear. Not a thud, not a crunch. Nothing. Just gone. I haven't slept much since then. I don't know what this is. I don't think anyone really does. Some people think it's a breach, like something broke open underground. Not a bomb. Not a virus. Just a crack. And something came through. Others say it's biblical. Like the veil between worlds got too thin and now things are slipping through. I used to laugh at stuff like that. Demons, possession, ghost stories. I used to think grief made people believe in things that weren't real because it was easier than facing the truth. But now, I'm starting to think grief is what keeps us sane. Keeps the door closed. Maybe faith isn't about believing in something better. Maybe it's about keeping something worse out. I've got a few candles lit in the corner. One of them went out just now. Just that one. The other 3 are still burning. It's not the wind. There's no draft in here. That candle was closest to the basement door. I'm not going down there. I need you to understand that. I don't care if the world ends. I'm not going down there. And yet, every night, I hear the voice say my name, like a lullaby made of glass. It doesn't scream. It doesn't whisper. It just speaks, soft and patient, like it's known me for years. Sometimes I think about letting it in, just opening the door and walking down, ending the waiting, ending the fear. And then I remember my brother's voice, last time we spoke, before everything collapsed. He said, "Don't trust anything that offers peace without cost." That stuck with me. This thing, whatever it is, it doesn't want to kill us. That would be too easy. It wants us to listen, to understand, to repeat. And once we do, we're not ourselves anymore. I saw it in Karen from down the road. Sweet woman. Owned 3 cats. She came knocking at my door 2 nights ago, barefoot, shivering, covered in mud. Her eyes were wrong, dilated too wide. She kept asking if I remembered the 6th name. I asked her what that meant. She said, "You will." Then she smiled, collapsed, and started seizing. I had to carry her to the garage. I wrapped her in blankets, gave her water. She hasn't spoken since. Just hums. Constantly. Same tune. No breaks. I tried recording it, but the recording came out blank. Not static. Just empty. I check on her every few hours. She's still breathing, still humming. If you're hearing this, I need you to write everything down. Not on a phone, not on a laptop. Paper, pen, something real. Something that doesn't hum when you're alone. Because that's how it starts. The humming, the vibrations, the signal. It gets inside you before you notice. And once it has your name, you belong to it. I'm going to stay on this frequency, 107.3 FM, as long as I can. As long as the generator holds. As long as the basement stays shut. I don't know how many people are listening. I don't know how many are left. But if you are, just know I'm still here. I'm still fighting. And I won't say the names, no matter how soft they call. I haven't slept. Again. It's morning now, I think. No sun, though. Just this heavy gray that never really changes. It's like the sky forgot how to rise. Time's strange these days. I keep checking my watch and seeing different numbers every time. A few hours ago it said 7:41. Then 3:03. Then it just blinked out. I still haven't changed the batteries in it. Thing is, I don't remember ever putting batteries in it to begin with. I've got a small stack of notes on the desk here. Listener letters. Notes people have left in my mailbox up the hill. I told people to stop coming up here. It's not safe. The air feels wrong. Like it's full of static, but you can't hear it. Only feel it in your teeth. But still, people leave these notes. Some are just scraps of paper with words that don't make sense. Some are entire pages, handwritten in shaky block letters like the person was trying to keep their thoughts from sliding off the page. One of them just says, "It's not the darkness you need to fear, it's the memory of light." I don't know what that means, but I keep thinking about it. A man named Ellis dropped something off the other night. I only know it was him because he carved his name into the side of the tin box he left it in. Said he was a radio tech back in the 90s. Inside was an old map, a compass, a shortwave receiver built from spare parts, and a torn photograph of a woman and a kid, both of them smiling, except their eyes had been burned out, literally, like someone held a lighter to just the eyes. The paper around it wasn't even singed. He left a note, too. Said, "They learn your face through reflection. Break your mirrors. Smash your phone. Don't let them see you seeing them. There's a piece of duct tape over the camera on my mic now. I know it's stupid. This mic doesn't even have a camera, but it makes me feel better. Something moved last night. Not the voice, not the whispering. This was physical. I heard the sound of something dragging across the basement floor. Slow, heavy, like a sack of wet clothes being pulled 1 inch at a time. I didn't check. I'm not going to check. I pushed a bookshelf against the door, piled some weights on top. If it wants to come up, it'll have to do more than whisper my name. Still haven't lit that candle again. The one that went out, I threw it outside. But this morning, I found it sitting back on the desk, unburned, like it never melted at all. Same wick, same smell, just sitting there, waiting. I haven't touched it. I tried to broadcast earlier, but the mic kept cutting out. No static, just silence. Dead, clean silence. Like the sound was getting eaten before it reached the air. I rewired the transmitter, switched the frequency for a few seconds. Nothing. Back to 107.3, and suddenly, here we are. I don't think the signal's safe anywhere else. It's choosing what gets heard now. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure anyone does. Some people are calling it an entity. Some think it's not even alive. Not in the way we understand life. Just a frequency. A corruption of sound and thought. Something that rides on signal and lives in repetition. That's why the names matter. You say them out loud, you broadcast them, and it spreads. Like infection. Like a song you can't forget. Only this one eats the part of your brain that tells you not to listen. I had a dream last night. Not the normal kind. Not the kind where you wake up confused and forget half of it. This one was complete, structured, like a memory I didn't know I had. I was standing on a beach, sky full of smoke. The water was black and perfectly still, and there were people, hundreds of them, kneeling in the surf with their heads underwater. Not drowning, just kneeling. Calm, hands folded, like they were praying to something below. And in the distance, a single figure standing waist deep in the water, pale, skin loose like it didn't fit right, and no eyes, just black holes where the sockets should have been. It turned and looked at me. No face, but I swear it looked at me, and it said without sound, "You're late, Malcolm." I woke up screaming, bile in my throat. I bit my tongue, blood on my pillow. There's something happening beneath us, beneath the ground. I know how that sounds, but people are digging now. I've seen it. Folks out near Waynesville reported whole sections of farmland collapsing in on themselves, perfect circles in the dirt, like something massive is burrowing underneath. Trees falling inward. No roots, no sound. Just gone. They're calling them sinkholes on the news. What's left of the news anyway. But the circles are too perfect, and they always smell like rust and ammonia, like something old and chemical. I've started hearing a new name in the walls, different than the ones before. It's clearer. It's not whispering. It's chanting, over and over. I won't say it. I'm not going to repeat it here. If I did, it would know you heard it. That's how it works. You hear it once, and it lingers, burrows in like a splinter. The moment you acknowledge it, you're marked. My neighbor across the ridge, Jude, he made the mistake of writing it down, just once, on the back of a receipt, folded it up and showed it to me, thinking it would help if we faced it directly. 2 hours later, his skin broke out in spirals, not blisters. Spirals, like someone carved circles into him with a hot wire. He said they were moving. We burned the paper. He hasn't spoken since. I've got some tips for staying safe. If you're still out there, if you're still trying to keep your head. I don't know if any of this will save you, but it might buy you time. Might keep the thing from recognizing you. First, don't look into reflective surfaces in complete darkness. That includes mirrors, windows, water, even the lens of your own eyes. If you see something move behind you, and there's no shadow, it's not your imagination. Turn on the lights, cover the mirror, walk away, don't speak, don't blink. Second, if you hear your name being spoken and no one is around, do not respond, not even in your thoughts. Say another name out loud, something fake, something meaningless. Give it the wrong answer. It wants you to acknowledge it. Third, destroy all recordings of the names. This part's important. Even if you think it's safe. Even if you think it's just a soundbite. Burn them. Smash the device. Get rid of the signal. Fourth, stay away from basements. Seriously. I can't say that enough. I don't care if you think you hear someone trapped down there, crying for help. I don't care if it sounds like your loved one. It's not them. It never is. I've had people write to me saying they heard their mother, their child, even their dog calling from below. The voices know how to mimic what you care about. That's how they get in. Fifth and final thing. Do not ask the question. You'll know it when you hear it. People who've been marked start to repeat it. First quietly, then louder. The words are always the same. 4 words. Do you remember me? If someone asks you that, do not answer. Do not make eye contact. Get away. I know this sounds crazy. I know how it all sounds. But if you're still listening to this station, if you're still here with me, you already know something is wrong. You've seen it, felt it. It's in the quiet. It's in the static. And it's growing. I got a shortwave message from someone out in Charleston. Said the docks are flooding, even though the water level's fine. Like the sea just decided to pull part of the city downward. She said people are building shrines to it now. Circles of salt and meat and teeth. Said they call it the hunger that sees. I don't know what that means. I don't want to. A guy from up north, Vermont maybe, left a message on a buried wire frequency. Only came through for 6 seconds. He said, "It's not a demon. It's not a god. It's the space between belief. It fills the silence when faith breaks." Then he screamed. Then the message cut off. I'm not trying to scare you. I swear I'm not. I just want you to know that you're not losing your mind. You're not crazy. The world is changing, twisting, and the rules don't apply anymore. But if you hold on to something, anything, real, solid, human, you might make it. I keep a photograph of my brother on the wall here. We weren't close. Not after the accident. But he always believed in preparing. He used to say, "Hope is a weapon. Sharpen it." I never understood that until now. This station, this mic, this tiny square of airwaves, it's all I've got left. And if you're hearing me, that means we still exist, even if it's just for a little longer. even if it's just a whisper. I'm not done yet. I'll stay on the air, I'll keep speaking as long as I can, and I won't go downstairs. Not yet. I lost an hour. I swear I was talking into this mic just 10 minutes ago. Thought I was finishing a sentence. Thought I was telling you about the woman who walked backwards into the church and never came out. But then I looked at the wall clock. 3:12. Then I blinked, and it was 4:28. And I don't remember stopping. Don't remember getting up. Don't remember anything except this cold. It's still in my bones. Like I stood outside naked in the snow. Except it hasn't snowed in weeks. Hasn't rained either. Hasn't done anything. The weather's wrong. The sky's stuck in that same gray-brown haze it's had for days. No clouds, but no sun. Just a ceiling. Heavy. Flat. It makes it hard to breathe sometimes. Like the air forgot how to move. I don't know what day it is anymore. The calendar says Thursday. But I swear it's been Thursday for 3 days. Maybe more. I tried calling someone again this morning. Not because I thought it'd work, but because I needed to hear the failure. Needed to hear the dial tone, just so I knew something was still trying. But the line didn't even ring this time. No error message, no beep. Just silence. Then something laughed. Very faint. Barely there. Not a voice. More like the sound of air catching in a throat that shouldn't be there. I ripped the phone out of the wall. I've been keeping a journal, writing down everything I remember, every hour, even if it's nonsense. Just so I have something to tether myself. So I can see my own handwriting and know I'm still here. I found a page this morning that I don't remember writing. It says, "You've always lived alone." That's all. In my handwriting. Neat. Same pen. But I know I didn't write that, because I haven't always lived alone. My mother lived here before me, and her mother before that. This house has been in our family since before the town had street names. There are pictures, boxes of them. People smiling in front of fireplaces, leaning on cars, kids in Halloween costumes. They're real. I've seen them. But when I opened the box today, every photo was empty. Not blacked out. Not damaged. Just empty. Like whoever was in them had been erased from the emulsion. Like the film forgot what it had seen. I looked through 30 photos. Not a single person. The house was still there. The trees, the furniture. But no people. No hands. No eyes. Just absence. I checked the negatives. Same thing. The only photo left with a person in it is the one I keep taped to the mic stand. My brother. 1992. Standing in front of the gas station we used to bike to for slush puppies and old comic books. He's still there. Still smiling that crooked grin. Still got dirt on his knees. But the sky behind him is black now. I don't remember it being black. I don't know what that means. There's something else. I can't remember the name of the town I grew up in. I know it. I lived here my whole life. Went to school here. Got my first job at the radio station downtown. But when I try to say the name out loud, nothing comes out. It's not on the road signs anymore. Just says, "Welcome." No town name. The post office burned down 2 nights ago. I didn't see it happen, but I saw the aftermath. No fire trucks, no people. Just a burned out shell and letters blowing down the street like dead leaves. None of them had addresses. The grocery store's empty now. Not ransacked. Just empty. Like it was never stocked. The shelves are clean. Perfectly clean. Not dusty. Not dirty. Just sterile. Too clean. No labels on the cans, just blank silver. I opened one. It was full of teeth. I'm not kidding. Human teeth. Baby teeth. Old teeth. A mix. All packed tight in syrup. The smell was sweet and rotting. I didn't touch another can. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Last real food I had was a bag of rice and some peanut butter I'd been saving. Now I'm down to crackers and rainwater. I have a few cans of soup, but I'm not opening them. I don't trust them. Not anymore. The water in the tap isn't water. Not really. It looks like water. But when it touches your skin, it feels thick and warm, like it's remembering something. I caught a drop on my finger and it burned like ice, my fingernails starting to peel. So now I just collect rain in a tarp outside the back door. Still tastes metallic, but it's better than the tap. I don't know what the hell is happening. I don't know what this thing wants, but I think it's changing the rules. Not just physics or nature, reality. It's editing things, rewriting what's real, slowly, piece by piece. So slow we don't notice until it's already done. That's why people are forgetting names. Why roads don't lead anywhere anymore. Why faces vanish from glass. It's not killing us. It's unmaking us. I went outside this morning to stretch my legs. Didn't even realize I'd opened the door. My body just moved, like something pulled me forward. The trees looked taller, not older, just stretched, like the forest had grown up overnight, trying to scrape the sky. And then I saw her. The woman in the nightgown, the one from the road weeks ago. She was standing at the edge of the woods, barefoot again, hands folded in front of her like she was praying. Only now, her mouth was stitched shut. Black thread. Tight. Bloody. Her eyes were wide, but she didn't blink. Not once. I whispered, "Why?" She lifted one hand, pointed to the ground, and then the dirt opened up beneath her and she was gone. No sound, no scream, just swallowed. I ran back inside, slammed the door, fell against it, and waited for something to come through after me. Nothing did. But when I looked at the floor, she left footprints, wet, bare footprints, leading from the edge of the door to the stairs, to the basement. They're still there. I scrubbed the floor 3 times. Soap, bleach. Nothing worked. The footprints are burned into the wood, and they're facing up the stairs. I don't know how long I can keep doing this. Not the broadcast. I'll keep the broadcast going. That's not what I mean. I mean the waiting, the not knowing, the feeling of being watched every second. I haven't seen my own reflection in days. I covered the mirror in the bathroom with a sheet. I smashed the one in the hallway. The radio used to have a chrome edge that showed part of my face when I leaned in close. I wrapped it in tape. I don't want to see what's looking back anymore. I found something strange in the radio room yesterday, tucked behind the old filing cabinet. A notebook, one I didn't recognize. Thick leather cover, yellowed pages, no name, no title. It was full of sketches, symbols, circles, hands with extra fingers, mouths drawn over eyes. One page just had the word "listen" written over and over again until the ink bled through the paper. Another page had a drawing of the station tower, this exact tower, with cracks running down the sides like veins. At the bottom of that page, in red ink, it said, "The tower hums because the gate is open." I don't know who drew them. I don't know how the book got there. But I can hear the hum now. Faint. Not the generator. Not the equipment. It's coming from the walls. It's steady, alive, breathing. I've started talking to myself, not just out loud, like conversations, full-on conversations with a voice that sounds like mine. Only, it's not me. It says things I don't remember thinking. It finishes my sentences in ways I never would. Last night, it said, "You've already gone down the stairs. This is just what you remember." I screamed until my throat bled, but the door was still nailed shut. Still locked, wasn't it? God, I don't know anymore. There's a man I used to know. Old Russ, lived out near the foothills. Used to fix radios in the 70s, back when everything was made with copper and guts instead of plastic and magic. He once told me there were frequencies the human ear wasn't meant to hear. Said that some sounds weren't made for us, and the reason we couldn't hear them wasn't because we lacked the tools, but because our minds would break trying to understand what we were hearing. I used to laugh at that, but now I wonder if that's what this is. A sound that's too old to be remembered, too heavy to be carried. A signal that vibrates not in the air, but in the cracks between thought. Whatever it is, it's getting louder. I'll stay on as long as I can. I don't know if you're still out there, if you're still listening, if your world is holding together better than mine, but if you can hear me, if my voice is reaching you through the static, write things down, say your name every morning, make noise, clap your hands, stomp your feet, sing, whistle, remind yourself you exist, because silence is where it feeds, and never, ever go into the basement. It's getting inside. Not just inside the house, inside me, inside this voice, inside the signal. I can feel it in the pauses between my words, the way the mic crackles even when I'm not speaking, like something is breathing through me, not taking over, not yet, just testing, pressing against the edges, seeing if I'll crack. I'm not going to crack. I keep telling myself that. I've had my weak moments. God knows I have. That first week, when the air changed, when the town went quiet, when the animals stopped coming around, I thought about walking down those stairs, just to end the wondering, the dread, just to see. But I didn't. I held the door handle until my hand went numb, and then I let go. And I won't touch it again. Not now. Not after last night. I heard the door creak open. That same slow wood against wood groan. It didn't open all the way, just an inch. Just enough to let the cold seep out. I got up, hammer in hand, and stood there in front of it. I nailed it shut again. Every nail drove in crooked. My hand was shaking so bad I couldn't see straight. But here's the part that doesn't make sense. There were no nails on the floor. The ones I put in before, gone. No loose nails, no bent metal. Just gone. Like the door was never sealed at all. And the handle, it was warm. Like someone, something, had been holding it from the other side. It's toying with me now. It doesn't need to kick the door in. It just waits, whispers, rearranges things when I'm not looking. Just enough to make me doubt. Just enough to make me wonder if I already gave in and forgot. I haven't. Not yet. I spent the last few hours digging through the old tapes in the station archive. Most of them are blank. Some are warped beyond use, melted, frayed, tangled, but a few still play. One of them was labeled December 1971 hollow broadcast. I didn't remember seeing that one before. I played it. Of course I did. Curiosity is a curse. It started with static, then a voice, not mine, not anyone I recognized, but calm, clear, the kind of voice you trust right away without thinking. It said, "If you're hearing this, then it's already found you. Do not panic. Do not run. Do not look at the reflection in the window. That's not your face anymore." Then, nothing. Just a hum, low, pulsing, almost like a heartbeat. Then the tape stopped on its own. I tried to rewind it. The tape unraveled in my hands. I've sealed it in a box and locked it in the shed, wrapped it in copper wire and salt. I don't know if that'll do anything, but it makes me feel like I have some control left, some boundary between me and the static. I've been watching the trees again. They don't move like trees anymore. I know that sounds insane. I know how that sounds, but it's real. It's real. The branches sway when there's no wind. They bend inward, like they're listening, like they're leaning in to hear what I'm not saying. And the ground, it's breathing. You can feel it if you stand still. Not a rumble, not a tremor, a pulse, like something deep under the earth is stirring, turning, shifting. The kind of movement that makes your blood want to run the other direction. And I swear to God, the last time I looked out the window, there were more trees than the day before. Like the forest is growing closer. Like it's coming for me. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to broadcast. The generator's low. The fuel I siphoned from the neighbor's lawnmower is almost gone. I've been rationing it. 30 minutes of airtime a night. Just enough to remind you I'm still here. Just enough to remind me I'm still here. But soon, I'll go dark. I'm sorry. Before I do, I want to tell you what I've figured out. What I've put together. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's just the madness talking. But it's the only truth I've got left. This thing, it's not new. It didn't just arrive. It didn't just break in from another world. It was always here, beneath the concrete, between the static, inside the silence. We just stopped hearing it a long time ago, buried it under machines and voices and noise. But now the noise is gone. The world is quiet, and in the quiet, it's speaking again. And it wants names, not souls, not bodies. Names. Because names are ties. Names are chains. Once it has your name, it can pull. It can unravel. That's why everyone keeps hearing their own name whispered. That's why people disappear after they answer. That's why the letters are blank. That's why the photos are empty. It's untying us, one by one, and once you're untied, you don't come back. I've been keeping a list. Every person I remember, every face, every name. I write them down in ink. Speak them out loud once a day. So they don't fade. I'm going to say some of them now. Not all, just a few. If you hear a name you recognize, write it down. Say it out loud. Remember it. Even if you don't know them personally, anchor it. Keep it real. Carla Withers, librarian, auburn hair, smelled like lilacs. Jerome Thomas, gas station clerk, played harmonica behind the counter. Ellen Gracie, art teacher, used to draw birds from memory. Jake Mercer, farmer, lost his hand in a combine and still kept working. Sasha Harlow, 8 years old, wore red rain boots even when it was dry. They mattered. They still matter. As long as one person remembers their name, they aren't gone. That's how we fight this. That's how we resist. Not with guns, not with fire, with memory, with names. That's why I keep saying mine, out loud, every day. My name is Malcolm Drake. I was born in a town I can no longer name. I remember blue curtains in the kitchen and the sound of crickets in summer. I remember the way my mother used to sing when she thought no one was listening. I remember my brother's laughter, sharp and wild like a thunderclap. I am still here. As long as I say that, it can't have me. Say it with me. If you're still listening, say it with me. I am still here. Louder. Again. If you speak it loud enough, maybe it'll echo back. Maybe someone else will hear. Maybe you'll find each other in the dark. Because the dark is coming. It's coming fast. Earlier tonight, I saw something at the tree line. Tall, thin, too thin, like a shadow stretched too far. It didn't move right. It just stood there, watching. I turned off the lights and waited. When I looked again, it was gone. But it left something behind. A small bundle, wrapped in cloth, sitting at the base of the tower. I didn't open it. I buried it. I don't know why. Just felt like the right thing to do. Felt like opening it would be giving permission. There are rules now. New ones. Unspoken, but clear. Don't open what's left for you. Don't speak what you didn't hear. Don't trust your reflection. Don't go down the stairs. And never, ever answer when something calls your name after midnight. Because it's not calling to you. It's calling you back. I'm going to keep talking until the fuel runs out. Until the signal dies. Until the static wins. Because maybe this voice matters. Maybe just hearing another human speak is enough to keep your brain from folding in on itself. Maybe I'm not just talking to myself. Maybe you're out there. Maybe you're still you. If you are, if any part of you still remembers who you are, hold on to it. Wrap it around you like armor. Say your name. Say your memories. Say who you love. Say what you had for breakfast when the world was still normal. Say anything real. Because the static is hungry. And memory is the only thing it can't digest. I woke up on the floor this morning. Don't remember falling asleep. Don't remember lying down. I was just there. Face pressed to the cold tile. Mouth dry. Eyes open. And the radio was already on. I never turned it off, but I didn't leave it running either. Power's too valuable. I always shut it down after the broadcast. And yet, there it was. On. Light humming. No static. Just a steady pulse, like a heartbeat wired into a machine. And something was breathing through it. Not speaking. Not moaning. Just breathing. Like it was testing the air. Like it was waiting for a voice to answer. I didn't speak. I waited until the sound stopped. Until the mic light flicked off on its own. Then I cut power to the whole system and sat in silence for an hour, trying to convince myself that maybe it was a glitch, a short, a hiccup in the generator. But I knew better. It's getting smarter. It's learning. This thing, whatever it is, it doesn't need to barge in. It just waits. It erodes. It wears you down until you invite it in. That's its game. It doesn't take you. You give yourself to it, piece by piece. That's what happened to Thomas Bishop. Used to be the town coroner. Smart guy. Dry sense of humor. Always wore brown corduroy even in the summer. He came to me about a week ago. said he'd been seeing faces in the mirrors at work. Not reflections, faces, pressed into the glass from the other side, smiling, mouthing words he couldn't hear. He said he smashed all the mirrors in the morgue, and that night, every body in cold storage disappeared. No open doors, no drag marks, just gone. He came back the next morning to find the drawers filled with his own autopsy reports. Dozens of them. All different dates. All ending with the same phrase. Self-inflicted unnaming. He read one aloud on air. I begged him not to. Screamed at him to shut it down. But he didn't listen. The next morning, I found his shoes by the front steps of the station. Laces tied, socks tucked in. Inside, one of them was a tooth, still wet, still warm. I keep it in a jar on the shelf. Not out of morbid curiosity, but because it exists, because it's real, because in a world where everything is starting to blur and vanish and warp, having something real matters, even if it's a human tooth, especially if it's a human tooth. I heard something last night that I still can't explain. Not a sound, not a voice, a memory, but it wasn't mine. I was lying in bed, watching the shadow of the tree branches on the ceiling sway without wind. And then I was somewhere else. A field, wheat swaying, summer sun, a woman laughing, then a sound like metal tearing through silk, and a voice, clear, calm, deep, said, "This is where the first door opened." Then I was back in bed, chest heaving, fingernails digging into my palms, blood on the sheets. It felt so real, like I was watching the beginning of something, like I was standing in the exact spot where this thing entered our world. The static's been changing too. Used to be just white noise, background, nothing. But now, there's patterns in it, shapes. If you close your eyes while it plays, you can see things, faces, symbols, rooms you've never been in, doors you've never opened. And behind those doors, something waits, something that knows you. I stopped listening to it. Turn the volume down when I'm not speaking. Keep the mic facing away from me. But I can still feel it watching. The other day, I tried to draw what I saw. Not an artist by any means, but I had to try. Put it on paper. Get it out. I drew a doorway with no frame. Just this rectangle of black floating in a white field. And inside the black, a spiral. No, not a spiral, an eye. But too many pupils, all focused inward. And around it, names, dozens of them. Some I recognized, some I didn't. And one was mine. Crossed out. I burned the page after that. Didn't even let it cool. Dropped it in the barrel and watched it curl. The ashes smelled like salt. I'm still rationing power. The generator's coughing now, spits smoke every time I fire it up. I give it breaks, let it rest. Just like us, machines can't run on fear forever. But I'll keep this going, even if it's just 5 minutes at a time. Even if it's just long enough to say I'm still breathing, that I haven't gone down the stairs. Yet. It's tempting. I won't lie to you. Every day I feel the pull, that curiosity, that gnawing ache to know, to see what's beneath. Because maybe if I understood it, I could fight it. Maybe if I saw it, I'd stop fearing it. But I know that's the lie it tells. That's the bait. That's how it gets in. It doesn't want me to see. It wants me to join. It wants me to forget who I am and become part of whatever it is, whatever lives in the cracks of this world. I think that's what happened to the others. Not death. Not disappearance. They were rewritten, reshaped, absorbed, and once that happens, they're not people anymore. They're carriers, walking signals, eyes without sight, voices without will, echoes of a frequency too ancient to name. I saw one of them last night, stood at the bottom of my driveway, wearing a skin that looked familiar, face of a girl I went to high school with, Emily Peters, cheerleader. Broke her leg junior year and never smiled the same after that. But the thing standing there wasn't Emily. It just wore her face, too perfect, too still, and her head was tilted just slightly too far, like a puppet whose strings weren't quite tight enough. She didn't blink, didn't breathe. She just opened her mouth, and out came the dial tone. Just the tone. Long, hollow, sharp. I slammed the door and screamed until my throat gave out. She was gone when I looked again. But her footprints were burned into the dirt, and they were facing the house. I don't think they can come in unless you invite them. But they'll wait. They're patient. I found a photo album today. One I hadn't opened in years. Thought I'd hidden it well. It was full, faces intact, memories sharp, color still rich, but every page was wet, soaked, no smell, no explanation, just dripping. And each page I turned made the hum grow louder. I stopped halfway through, closed it, wrapped it in canvas, buried it beneath the floorboards. I can't risk it rewriting my past. If it gets in there, then I really am lost. So listen to me, if you still can. If this signal's making it through whatever filters reality's putting up now, don't trust what you remember. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make your own map. Make your own truth. Because whatever this is, it feeds on gaps, on questions, on silence. It grows in the cracks between what was and what might be, and it wants to be believed. Don't give it that. Give it nothing. Give it your back, your anger, your resistance. Keep your head. Keep your name. Keep your voice. I'll stay with you as long as I can. As long as the tower holds. As long as the fuel lasts. As long as I remember my name. Malcolm Drake. Still here. Still fighting. Still not going into the basement. Not tonight. I woke up with my fingernails gone. Every single one. Not ripped off. Not bleeding. Just gone. Like they were never there to begin with. The skin underneath is smooth, pink, not raw, not injured, like it healed over years ago. But I remember them being there yesterday. I remember biting one while I was waiting for the radio to warm up. And now, it's like they never existed. This is what I mean when I say it's not just taking people. It's taking details, small things, familiar things, the stuff that makes you you, bit by bit. It doesn't kill. It rewrites. It sandpapers the soul. I looked in the mirror this morning, the one I covered up weeks ago. Don't ask why. Curiosity again. Stupid. I peeled the sheet off slow, half expecting to see something standing behind me. But there was no reflection. Not a shadow. Not a shape. Nothing. Just blank glass. like the room behind me didn't exist, like I didn't either. I stood there for maybe 3 full minutes, staring, waiting. I waved my hand. Nothing. Snapped my fingers. Nothing. No echo. No return. And then, just for a second, maybe less, I saw something. Not me. Something wearing my skin. But older. Empty-eyed. Standing perfectly still. And it smiled. Then it was gone. I smashed the mirror. Again. This time into powder. I think that's how it gets in. Through mirrors. Through cameras. Through windows after sunset. Anything that reflects but doesn't respond. The house is darker now. I've boarded up most of the windows. Covered the rest in black paint. My hands are still stained from it. Even with gloves, it got through. Soaked in. My skin itches. My palms have started to peel. But I'd rather that than catch a glimpse of whatever's watching through the glass. I can't risk seeing that face again. I've been hearing things from the old AM band. Things that shouldn't be there. Dead stations are lighting up again. But not with music, not with voices, with tones, low, mechanical, rhythmic. They don't match any known frequency pattern. No Morse, no digital pulse, just these slow, dragging sounds like something breathing through broken gears. And in between them, you can hear names. Faint, twisted, like they're being spoken backwards. I recorded one of the broadcasts, played it back at half speed, in reverse. There was a phrase, clear as day. The house remembers more than you. That's what it said. And I felt something shift under my feet. Like the foundation moved, like the house was listening. I used to think this place was safe. It's built into a hill. Concrete walls, soundproofed. I thought it would protect me. But now I think it's alive. Or worse, it's always been dead. And now something's wearing it like a shell. I tried sleeping in the attic last night, away from the stairs, away from the basement door. I brought up blankets, a lantern, my brother's photo. But around 3 a.m., I heard something in the walls. Not rats, not creaks, breathing, and then laughing. Software gurgling, like lungs full of mud. I held my breath for so long, I almost passed out. Then it stopped. Then the radio turned on downstairs, all by itself, tuned to 107.3. My own voice came through, not a recording, not a past broadcast. My voice, live, and it said, Malcolm Drake is no longer with us. Then silence. I ran downstairs, slammed the power off, disconnected every line, ripped wires out of the wall. But I swear, for just a second, I heard myself whisper, "Don't make me come up there." The power was off. I checked the breakers. Everything dead. But the mic light was glowing. Diamond Soy's red. I took the batteries out of every backup device. I haven't spoken since then until now. I didn't want to give it more words to twist. But I need you to hear this. Please hear this. If you're still out there, still in control, write your name down, in permanent ink, in blood if you have to. Just don't forget it. Tape it to your chest. Tattoo it to your hand. Because it starts with your name, then your reflection, then your voice, then your memories. And once they're gone, you're just a puppet. a mouth for it to speak through. I saw a man yesterday, just walking along the side of the road like nothing was wrong. Clean clothes, calm eyes. He waved at me, and when he opened his mouth, 6 voices came out at once. None of them matched his face. They just said one word, over and over. Below. I didn't wave back. I didn't look him in the eye. I turned around and walked back inside and locked every door twice. And now there's a note under my doormat. No footsteps, no sound, just a note. It says, "Soon you'll speak in more than one direction." I don't know what that means, but I feel it in my throat, like pressure, like something's waiting to echo. I used to think I could fight this with logic, with preparation, with books and notes and patterns. But this thing doesn't play by rules. It's not a monster, not a demon, not a virus. It's a thought, an idea, a frequency so old and buried that just remembering it pulls it closer. That's why I stopped saying the names out loud. That's why I only write them now. I've filled 3 journals with the people I remember. Every page is a resistance. Every name is a nail in the door. As long as they're written, they're real. I think that's why it's trying to take my hands. My nails are gone. Now, my fingers ache, like they're being chewed from the inside. But I'll keep writing until they fall off, until I run out of paper, until my blood is all that's left. Because I won't let it win. I won't go quiet. I won't go down there. Not yet. There's still more to say. Still more to remember. It's not night or day anymore. Just a smear of time. No sun, no moon, just that same dull ash-colored sky hanging above everything like a lid. I haven't seen a star in over a week. The clocks don't agree with each other. My old wristwatch says it's 9:43 a.m. The radio's clock says 2:17 p.m. The wall clock I found under a pile of insulation now ticks backward, and no matter what I do, it won't stop. I took the battery out, and it still ticks. I smashed it once, and when I came back into the room the next morning, it was on the table again, ticking backwards. The glass was unbroken. The hands were still there. I think I'm starting to lose the meaning of hours altogether. I only know a day has passed when I realize I've recorded another broadcast. The body still wants to eat, still wants to sleep, but the sky never changes. It's like living inside a locked box with a speaker in the wall, and something on the other side keeps whispering, "Time is a lie you used to believe in." Yesterday, if that's what it was, I caught myself talking to something. I was brushing my teeth with a stick soaked in salt water, and I looked up, and my mouth was moving, but I wasn't saying what I thought. My voice was calm, pleasant, almost friendly, but the words weren't mine. "He'll come down when he's ready," I heard myself say. We've been very patient with him. I dropped the stick. My teeth clenched so hard I thought I'd crack a molar. I ran to the mic, turned on the feed, and just started reading names again. Names from the journals. Names of the real, the gone, the remembered. That's what grounds me. That's what keeps the voice from getting a foothold. I think it needs silence. Stillness. It moves in through the pause between breaths. It waits in the commas. That's why I talk so much. That's why I ramble. Because if I stop, even for a few seconds, something else speaks instead. I've started writing on the walls. I ran out of notebooks yesterday, and I'm not going to risk going into town again. Last time I went down the main road, I saw 3 people standing perfectly still on the courthouse steps, eyes sewn shut, mouths wide open, and there was a sound coming from all of them. Not words, not a scream, a tone, same pitch, like they were broadcasting something from inside their lungs. The air around them shimmered like heat on pavement. I didn't get close. I turned around and ran. But now I think that tone is inside me. Sometimes, when I speak too close to the mic, the radio starts humming. Not a feedback loop, deeper, colder. I've unplugged the mic 3 times in a row and it still happens. It's like my voice is tuning into something it shouldn't. Last night, something banged on the basement door. Not scratched, not whispered. Banged 3 times, loud, solid, like a hand. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I sat on the floor and stared at the door for 2 hours. My legs went numb. The candle I had burning went out. Not flickered, just died. The air felt wet. I thought I saw mist pouring from the gap under the door. The room smelled like copper, like a wet coin on your tongue. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But some part of me knew that if I made a sound, it would knock again. Or worse, open. It didn't. Not last night. But I don't think it was trying to break in. I think it was testing the memory of what a knock is supposed to sound like. When I finally moved, I found the weight I had pressed against the door had shifted. Not pushed, moved. As if someone on the inside had pulled it away just enough to loosen the seal. I put it back. I added more. A shelf, a chain, anything I could find. I don't know how long it will hold. But for now, the door is shut. The woods are moving closer. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know how it sounds, but I swear to you the trees are migrating. Every day I see them creep a little closer to the tower. Not visibly, not like in a movie. It's slower, like the land itself is shifting, like the roots are crawling under the ground, dragging the trunks with them. A week ago, the nearest tree line was 50 yards away. Now it's 20, and the trees are wrong. No leaves, no bark, just smooth gray wood like polished bone. The branches don't sway, they reach. At night, if I press my ear to the floor, I can hear them groaning, calling, like they're trying to sing. There was a voice on the shortwave this morning. First real human voice I've heard in days. A woman, maybe late 40s, spoke in a slow, clipped whisper. Said her name was Gwen. Said she was broadcasting from a church basement near Lexington. Her signal was thin, broken, probably not meant to reach this far. She was reading from a book, not the Bible, something older. She said, the first language was not written, but remembered, and when we forgot it, it began to remember us instead. I tried to respond, tapped the mic, called out. Nothing. Her signal faded into a tone, the same tone I heard from the courthouse steps. I recorded it this time, played it back 3 times. The pitch doesn't change, but the more I listen, the more it feels like it's saying something, not in words, in pressure, like it's pushing against my thoughts, trying to mold them into a shape that fits its frequency. I had a nosebleed the 3rd time. Shut it off after that. I haven't seen my own handwriting in days. Not because I'm not writing. It's all over the walls now. But because it doesn't look like my handwriting anymore. The letters are sharper, slanted, foreign. I don't remember changing the way I write, but it's happened. I tried copying one of my old journal entries onto the wall. Halfway through, the pen snapped in my hand. The ink spilled onto the floor in a perfect circle. No splatter, no mess, just a circle. like it wanted to be something else. The house hums constantly now, a low, deep buzz that rises and falls with no rhythm, like breathing, like it's alive, and the air is always heavy, always cold. It smells like something wet and ancient. I've started keeping the candles lit all the time, not because I need light. I've got batteries, but because the candles keep the voices from getting too close. When they're burning, the air stays clear. When they go out, I hear names in the static again. Names I've never said out loud. Names I've never written. But they're mine, or at least, they want to be. If you're still out there, if you haven't been rewritten yet, please listen to me. Please write your name. Say it out loud. Look at your hands. Count your fingers. Do it twice. The number might change. If it does, do not react. Just breathe. Close your eyes. Say something you know is true. Something no one could take from you. I've been saying, the floor is cold. My name is Malcolm Drake. I remember the smell of my mother's coffee in the morning. I remember the sound of my brother's laugh. I remember being afraid of the dark, even when I was too old to admit it. Those are real things. As long as I remember them, I'm still here. I'll keep the signal alive as long as I can. As long as there's fuel. As long as the cables hold. As long as I'm me. If you're hearing this, you are not alone. We are still out here. Still human. Still ourselves. And we do not go into the basement. I think I lost my voice for a while. Not metaphorically. Not emotionally. Literally. I opened my mouth to speak, and nothing came out. No rasp, no whisper, no air. Just this hollow, gagging silence, like my throat didn't remember how to make sound. I pounded on the table, slapped my chest, tried screaming, but it was like my vocal cords weren't there anymore. It lasted maybe an hour, maybe a whole day. I don't know. Time's too slippery now. The clocks are gone. The windows are blacked out. I measure the hours by how long the candle burns before it drowns itself in wax. When my voice came back, the first thing I said was my name, over and over. Malcolm Drake, Malcolm Drake. Like a kid chanting their ABCs after waking from a nightmare. My voice didn't sound like mine at first. It had a buzz to it, a filter. Like someone had recorded me and was playing me back through a broken cassette. But it settled eventually. I spoke until the words felt warm again. Until they belonged to me. I think the silence was a test. I think it wanted to see what I would do without a voice. Because once it takes your voice, the rest follows. You lose your story, your shape, yourself. What are we without sound? Without language? Just bodies waiting to be filled by whatever frequency gets there first. There was a sound in the walls again last night, but not from the basement, from above, from the attic. I heard footsteps, slow, deliberate, not walking, pacing, back and forth, over the same creaking boards I slept beneath for years without hearing a sound. I thought maybe I had left something up there, a chair, maybe, something that could sway. But the attic's empty. I cleared it weeks ago, burned the mattress, dumped the books, blocked the window. It's just insulation and old nails now. But someone was up there, or something. It never came down, never knocked, just walked. And I knew, deep in my chest, in the bones beneath my lungs, that if I went up those stairs, I wouldn't be coming back down. So I stayed. I sat at the bottom step and listened until my eyes started bleeding from the pressure behind them. Then, I crawled back to the radio room and turned on the mic. There's comfort in the broadcast, in the hum of the tower, in the weight of the headphones pressing against my skull. It's like anchoring yourself to something physical, something real, something that still obeys the laws we used to know. And there are moments, small ones, where I think I'm not the only one left. I've been hearing faint transmissions again, weak, broken. But there, little blips from voices I can't quite make out, like someone talking through a paper bag underwater. One of them repeated a phrase 3 times. The chorus has started. That's all. No location, no name, just that line. The chorus has started. It echoed in my head all night. What does that even mean? Are they talking about the voices? The ones in the static? The ones that sing when the power flickers? Or are they part of it now? Is this how it spreads? Through phrases? Through repetition? I woke up this morning with something written on my arm. 3 words. Black ink. Block letters. Tune. Name. Bleed. I didn't write it. I would have remembered. But there it was. No pain. No scabbing. Just ink soaked into the skin like it had always been there. I tried washing it off. Nothing. I tried scraping it. Just left a raw patch beneath that still said the same thing. Tune. Name. Bleed. That's what it wants, isn't it? It tunes to your frequency, learns your name, and then it makes you bleed. Not physically, not at first. It bleeds you from the inside, scrapes out who you are, fills the space with echoes. I've been thinking about the basement again. I don't want to. I fight it. But the thought keeps creeping in, like a song stuck in the back of your mind. What if it's not a place? What if it's not just a room under the floor? What if the basement is a metaphor? What if it's the part of you that you keep sealed off? The part where you bury the old hurts, the names you stopped saying, the doors you locked and walked away from. And what if the thing down there isn't something else? What if it's you? What if the thing knocking at the door is the part of me I left behind? God, I hate how much sense that makes. I hate how I keep catching glimpses of movement in the corner of my eye. Not shadows, reflections, the kind you only see on glass, even if the room has no glass. I don't have any mirrors left. I've shattered them all, covered the windows, turned every reflective surface to the wall. And still, I see myself sometimes. Not straight on, just sideways, a little too tall, a little too still, wearing my face like a costume it doesn't quite understand. I spoke to it once. I looked right at it and said, "You're not me." And it smiled and said, "Not yet." The temperature dropped again last night, not just in the house, everywhere. My breath froze in the air for the first time in weeks. The pipes made a sound like screaming metal. Then the silence came again, that awful, weighty quiet that presses into your chest like a fist. And during that silence, I heard my brother, clear as anything. He said, "It's not the dark you should fear, Mal. It's the quiet." He died 5 years ago. I buried him myself. But that voice, it was him. Same rhythm. Same scratch in the vowels. He was wearing his old winter jacket, the one he always wore when we went sledding as kids. I saw him through the studio door. He was standing just outside, snow in his hair. His eyes weren't right. Black, reflective, empty. He held out his hand and said, "Let me show you what we forgot." I didn't open the door. I turned around and counted backward from 50 until I couldn't hear anything. When I turned back, he was gone. But there was snow on the floor. And my coat, my real coat, was gone. Taken from the hook by the door. What's it doing with my things? Why does it want them? Every piece of me that disappears, it replaces. My handwriting, my clothes, my reflections, like it's building a version of me in the basement, bit by bit. And when it's finished, what then? Do I vanish? Do I become the knock on someone else's door? Do I end up pacing the attic of another man's memories? I don't know, but I won't let it finish. Not yet. I lit every candle I had, burned a circle of them into the floor, sat inside it with the mic, the photo of my brother, and a page of names I still remember. I read them until my voice gave out, until the wax puddled and hardened around my knees, and I felt something pull away, like a tide retreating, like whatever was leaning against the edge of the room stepped back. It didn't last, but it worked. For a few minutes, I was alone again. Really alone. And God, it felt good. So here's what I'm saying to you. Whoever's left, however far this signal can crawl, find the real things, write them down, speak them, burn them into the air if you have to. Do not go quiet. Do not let the silence settle, because the silence is not empty. The silence is listening. It rained last night. For real this time. Not ash, not grit, not that oily mist that smells like burning coins. Rain. Cold. Loud. Solid. I stood under the roof overhang and listened to it drum on the tin like a heartbeat I hadn't heard in weeks. For a minute, just one clean minute, it felt normal again. Not safe, but familiar. Like the world remembered how to cry. The kind of rain that would normally wash away everything. The dust, the noise, the madness. But now it only feels like it's soaking the nightmare deeper into the bones of the earth. I didn't dare stand in it. The last time I touched the rain, I came back in with words etched across my back. Faint, like bruises. Let it in. 3 words, pressed into my skin like water could talk. I still have the marks. They're colder than the rest of me. I stayed up all night listening. Not to the rain, not to the wind, to the basement. Something was pacing again. Not heavy. Barefoot. Slow. Deliberate. Like it was learning the dimensions of the house by heart. Like it wanted to make sure when it came up, it would know exactly how far to walk before it touched me. The old staircase groaned at one point. Just one long stretch of wood, like something put weight on it. Not a creak. A sigh. A sound of something waking up and remembering that it used to move. I haven't eaten in 2 days. I boiled water over a candle last night and poured it over dry rice. It tasted like dust and regret. I chewed until it felt solid. I still have a couple cans left, but I'm scared of what's inside. The last one I opened had fur. Not food. Not mold. Fur. Like something small had curled up in there before dying. Like it had nested. I didn't see bones. Just this little ball of damp fur and a single human molar tucked in the middle like a pearl. That was enough for me. I threw the rest of the cans into the woods. I heard something move when they landed. Something that didn't mind the noise. I can't sleep anymore. Not because of fear. Because sleep isn't what it used to be. It's loud now. When I close my eyes, I hear people talking, whispering. saying my name in different voices, from different directions. Not dream voices, not imagination, actual voices. People I knew, people I've forgotten, people who never existed but know exactly how I failed them. One voice keeps repeating the same phrase. You locked me in and swallowed the key. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's symbolic. Maybe it's literal. Maybe I'm not Malcolm Drake anymore. Maybe I'm just what's left after someone let the key sink down their own throat and forgot why they were running. I've started to lose track of what's real. Not just in the memory sense, in the spatial sense. The house isn't holding its shape anymore. Rooms are longer. Stairs that used to creak now whisper. I opened the closet this morning and found a window to a room I've never seen before. Just hanging there, like a painting, but I could feel wind coming from it. It showed a room with a flickering light bulb and a wet concrete floor. There was a chair in the middle of it, wooden, old, the kind you'd see in a school basement from the 50s. Someone was sitting in it, but I couldn't see their face. Just hands, palms down, fingernails missing, wrists stitched to the armrests. I closed the closet. I moved the bookshelf in front of it. But I swear I still hear that bulb buzzing at night, even through the wall. Someone left a message on the broadcast line today. First in a while. A man's voice, calm, flat. Like he'd been speaking for a very long time and forgot what silence was. He said, "Do not trust the floors. The floors remember the dead. And if they creak, they are trying to tell you who still lingers." Then the line cut out. Just like that. No static. No click. Just an end. Like the sentence was enough. I haven't trusted the floor in days. I sleep sitting up now. My back against the wall. Feet off the ground. I keep the lights on when I can, but even light isn't safe anymore. Sometimes it flickers and shows shapes in the corner. Long ones, thin ones, like shadows of something that didn't walk like us. One time I saw my own outline on the wall, but it moved before I did. I'm going to tell you something I haven't said yet. There's another voice inside me. I don't mean metaphorically. I mean inside. Like a separate consciousness that wakes up when I'm too tired to resist. It doesn't speak in words. It speaks in feelings, in desires, in urges to move when I shouldn't, to open things I've kept closed. Last night, I found my hand on the basement door. I don't remember walking there. I don't remember standing up. But my hand was on the doorknob, and I was leaning, like gravity reversed, like something underneath had flipped the rules of the house. I bit my own tongue until I bled, just to wake up. It worked. This voice, it's patient. It waits. It doesn't scream. It doesn't demand. It suggests. And sometimes it sounds like me. That's the part that scares me the most, when I can't tell if the thought I just had was mine or planted. That's why I read from the names list every hour. Why I speak into the mic, even when I know no one's listening. Because the voice hates that. It hates when I fill the silence, when I remember, when I resist. So I'll keep resisting. Even if all I have left are words. Even if they're the last real thing I own. If you're still out there, if you can hear this, then you're winning. Because it hates signals. It hates voices. It hates clarity. It wants silence, confusion, chaos. It feeds off gaps, between memory and identity, between sound and thought. So long as you speak, it starves. Don't give it quiet. Don't give it peace. Make noise, make mess, scream into the void if you have to, but don't go still. That's when it slips in. I'm going to try something tomorrow. Something stupid, desperate, but I have to know. I found an old recorder in the shed. One of those analog jobs with the little reels. Still works. I'm going to set it outside the basement door, just for an hour. See if it picks anything up. I won't listen to it right away. I'll send it across the frequency first. Let you hear it before I do. Maybe if I broadcast it fast enough, I can keep it from embedding in me. But if the next time you hear me, I sound wrong, cut the feed. Smash your radio. Do not listen. I don't want to hurt anyone. And if I go under, I don't want to be your infection. That's all I've got for tonight. Keep the lights on if you can. Say your name out loud. Look yourself in the eye. Just once. And mean it. And whatever's waiting at the bottom of your stairs, don't let it climb. It's morning again, I think. The light's different, slightly less gray, more yellow around the edges. Doesn't mean the sun's out, just means something's changed up there, something behind the sky. I stood outside for a few minutes with my eyes closed, pretending it was just fog, pretending the power lines still hummed and that there were cars going by and kids getting ready for school. I tried to pretend there weren't claw marks in the soil around the base of the tower. I tried to pretend the dirt didn't shift every time I stepped on it, like I was walking on something that was sleeping. The recorder worked. That old battered reel-to-reel, rust on the edges, black mold on the leather strap, the kind of machine you'd find buried in the back of a church basement under decades of forgotten sermons. It worked. I don't know if that should comfort me or scare the hell out of me. I set it by the basement door last night, hit record, stepped back, didn't sleep, just waited. 1 hour, not a second longer. When the tape stopped, I brought it into the studio. Didn't play it right away, just stared at it for a long time, wondering if I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't listen through headphones. Didn't risk that. I patched it into the station feed and let it play live, figuring if it was dangerous, at least someone else would hear it too, could help carry the weight. The first few seconds were just floorboards shifting. Nothing unusual, just the sounds this place always makes, breathing in its sleep, I used to joke. Then there was a long silence, at least a minute of nothing. Then the voice. It didn't say my name. It didn't say anything at first. Just this hum. Low, pulsing, like someone dragging their teeth over piano wires. Then breathing. Wet, labored breathing, like lungs full of smoke. Then words. 3. Bring it down. Over and over. No urgency. No emotion. Just calm. Slow. Like a parent asking a child to hand them a box from the top shelf. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down. And the thing is, it wasn't talking to me. I don't know how I know that, but I do. I felt it in my spine. That voice wasn't calling up. It was calling out. As if something else was standing near the recorder. As if something else had already come halfway. When the tape ended, the signal cut for 30 full seconds. Dead air. Then the backup transmitter kicked in. Nothing else has worked since. The main system's fried. Mic is running hot, power fluctuating, lights dimming every time I speak. I think it's inside the lines now, inside the cables, inside the words. It doesn't need to break the door. It just needs the frequency. I don't know how much longer I can keep broadcasting, but I'll go down screaming if I have to. There's a new hole out in the yard. Small, maybe a foot wide, but deep. Deep enough that I can't see the bottom. I dropped a stone down there and didn't hear it hit. The ground around it is dry, cracked, like something burned its way up. I covered it with a slab of concrete I pulled from the collapsed shed wall, but I keep dreaming of it opening again. Wider this time. Hungry. The tower isn't humming anymore. It's moaning. Real low. Like metal under strain. Like the steel knows what's coming and wants to buckle before it has to see. My hands are shaking. Worse than before. I tried writing this morning, and the pen snapped in two. Ink ran down my arms and wouldn't stop. Not regular ink. Too thin. Too dark. Smelled like vinegar and soil. I scrubbed until the skin blistered. It's still under my nails. The mirror in the bathroom, what's left of it, reflected something this morning. Not me. Not a shape. A phrase. Burned into the silver backing. Say the name and it says yours back. I've said a lot of names on this frequency, but never the one that lives downstairs. And I won't. I don't care what it shows me. I don't care if it puts my brother in the doorway again, or my father, or the girl I once loved who died with her eyes open. I won't say it. I won't give it that. Because the moment I do, I'm not a voice anymore. I'm a signal. I think that's the goal. Not possession. Not some ancient demon script. Just signal. It wants to convert us into echo. Into repeaters. Vessels for its own message. If you've noticed static behind people's voices, if you've seen their mouths move before the words come out, if you've started hearing the same phrase in unrelated places, advertisements, dreams, whispered prayers, it means it's working. It means the spread has begun. I've started building a barrier, not physical. Those don't hold. I've been collecting memories, my own, other people's, writing them into tape, old cassette reels, floppy disks, anything magnetic, layering them with white noise and humming, old childhood songs, laughter, real human chaos. I play them back at night, loud, on loop. It's the only thing that drowns out the whispering. The basement's quieter now. Too quiet. I think it's listening. I think it's learning. And I think the next knock won't come from below. It'll come from behind. From the attic. From the space above. Because when we built this place, we thought the threat would always rise. That hell was underneath us. But what if it's the echo that falls? What if the thing we're hearing now is just a memory of something that already climbed too high and broke? I don't know. I'm tired. More tired than I've ever been. The blood behind my eyes feels like it's boiling when I try to sleep. The dreams don't stay in the dark anymore. They cling. They drip down the walls in the morning. I hear them in the pipes. But I'll keep speaking, as long as I have breath, because even if I don't know who's listening, that's better than knowing what is. Something changed last night, not just in the house, in the air, in the rules. I felt it, like the moment before a power outage, when everything around you tenses up, and you just know something's about to snap. That kind of pressure, that kind of pause. And then, for the first time since all this began, the tower went completely silent. No hum, no interference, not even static. It was like someone unplugged the whole world from the socket. I was mid-sentence. I remember it clearly. I was talking about the reel-to-reel, about how it had stopped working after the third playback, and then nothing. My voice vanished into a vacuum. The lights stayed on. The mic stayed hot. But the signal wasn't there. I tapped the desk, spoke again. No bounce, no hiss. Just this cold, dead silence. And then I heard my own voice. through the wall. Not a playback, not a recording, not the radio. Just my voice, speaking the same sentence I'd just said, but delayed. Like something inside the wall was mimicking me, trying it on, testing the weight of the words. I didn't move for almost an hour. I just sat there in the dark, candle flickering low, listening to this thing practice being me. At one point, it started laughing. Just a little. Just enough to let me know it was enjoying itself. Eventually it stopped, and when the signal came back, everything smelled like smoke. No fire, no heat, just the smell, like something had passed through, burned a hole in the air, and kept walking. The next morning, if you want to call it that, I found a message scrawled on the inside of the closet door. Not written, carved, thin, shallow letters, dug into the wood like they'd been scratched in with a single dirty fingernail. It read, "We have your shape. We only need your doubt." I laughed when I read it, not because it was funny, but because I was relieved. That's it? That's all you need? Just doubt? Well, good luck, because there's nothing left to doubt. I'm past uncertainty. I've seen too much, heard too much. I know what's hunting us now, what's leaking through the cracks, and I won't give it satisfaction. I won't give it pause. I won't give it space. You can take my voice, my name, my reflection. You can burn my memories to ash and stuff the holes with lies. But you won't take my certainty. That's the line. That's the lock. So if you're out there, and I pray someone still is, listen to me. This isn't a possession. This isn't a haunting. This is an infection of structure. It's breaking down the architecture of being human, taking what we are, language, memory, voice, shape, and rewriting the code. This thing doesn't want to live in you. It wants to become you, replace you. It wants to walk in your shoes, speak in your voice, carry your laugh, and wear your guilt like a jacket. That's why the reflections don't follow you anymore. Why the walls repeat things you haven't said yet. Why the attic creaks with footsteps, even when you've nailed the hatch shut. Because there's more than one version of you now, and they're all hungry. I'm sorry if this is rambling. I've had less sleep than usual, or maybe more. I keep drifting off without realizing it, and when I wake up, I'm in a different room, or on a different floor. Once I woke up sitting outside, barefoot, notebook open on my lap, pen still in my hand. The page said, "You are the echo, not the voice." I didn't write that. At least, I don't think I did. But it's in my handwriting. There's a new sound under the floorboards now. It's not pacing anymore. It's tapping, software rhythmic, like it's counting, or worse, knocking in code. I tried recording it. Didn't work. Every device I tried just played back the phrase, "Ready when you are," in my own voice. I'm not ready. I'll never be ready, but I think it's coming anyway. The attic opened last night. No creak, no groan, just open. The hatch swung down like someone pulled the string. I stood at the bottom of the ladder for an hour, flashlight in one hand, hammer in the other. I didn't go up. Of course I didn't. I'm not that far gone yet. But I smelled something. Not rot, not smoke. Soil, fresh black earth, like a grave just opened. And something was dripping. I don't know what it was. I didn't look. But I left the ladder where it was. The house wants me to go up now. First it wanted me down. Now up. Soon, maybe. Both at once. Maybe the attic and the basement meet in the middle. Maybe they've always been the same place. Two mouths waiting to swallow whatever wanders in. I haven't read names today. Not yet. So I'm going to do that now, before I forget. Not just names, details. Because names alone aren't strong enough anymore. The thing has learned to mimic names. We need memories. We need anchors. So here we go. Emily Brandt, high school librarian, smelled like mint tea, had a nervous habit of twirling her hair when she explained Dewey Decimal classifications, always wore mismatched socks on purpose. Theo Alvarez ran the butcher shop on 2nd Street, gave every kid a slice of turkey when they walked by, had a picture of his dead wife pinned above the register, always cried a little when Unchained Melody came on the radio. Marla Green, piano teacher, fingers like spider legs, never needed sheet music, played everything from memory. Taught me Clair de Lune when I was 10, said it was the sound of someone trying to cry without being caught. They were real. They were here. And if we speak them enough, maybe they won't get lost. Maybe they won't be absorbed. Because that's what this thing is doing. It's not erasing us. It's digesting us, taking in all the pieces and making something else. You ever notice how people are starting to say the same phrases? How they repeat themselves without realizing it? It's fine. I'm just tired. Don't worry about me. Those aren't reassurances anymore. They're scripts, markers. Tell someone you're tired, and they nod. Say it again, and they blink slower. Say it a third time, and they stop responding altogether. That's when it gets them. That's when it slips in through the repetition. Because repetition is invitation. That's why I change the format every night. Why I don't stick to a schedule. Why I shift my tone, my rhythm, my delivery. Because structure is a doorway, and I won't give it a key. I'm going to keep the broadcast open until sunrise, or what I think is sunrise. Longest stretch yet. If the signal dies, if the tower groans, if the words start to twist, you'll know what happened. Don't mourn me. Don't mimic me. Let me go. Because if I stop being me, and you keep listening, then I win. Not the thing that wore me, not the echo. Me, Malcolm Drake, still transmitting, still remembering, still fighting. It's 4:17 a.m., or at least that's what the cracked digital clock says. The seconds don't blink anymore, they just smear. The colon between the numbers flickers like it's stuck between decisions. I stopped trusting time a long while ago. Out here, it's not a line, it's a loop. A figure 8 wrapping around a drain. Things repeat, but never quite the same way. The rain falls, but upward. The wind groans in sentences. And if you stare at your watch long enough, you might see your birth date blink past. Last night, the floor in the hallway opened up. Not collapsed. Opened. Like a hatch. I stepped outside for a second to check on the tarp I keep over the emergency water drums, and when I came back in, there was a hole right where the grandfather clock used to stand, about the size of a manhole cover, perfectly round, edges clean like it was cut with a scalpel. No dirt, no boards, just absence. And underneath it, nothing. Not black, not darkness, nothing. I dropped a flashlight in. It vanished without a sound. I didn't sleep after that. There are things crawling along the edge of the house now. I hear them, like fingers on brick, not claws. Fingers. Too many of them. Sometimes I hear tapping on the window. Slow, irregular, like Morse code done wrong. like something wants to communicate, but doesn't understand rhythm. I don't respond. I keep the curtains closed. I keep the mirrors covered. I keep my name written on the wall, fresh each day. This morning, I woke up to find the walls were bleeding. Not metaphorically, not some old paint trickling from cracks. Real blood. Thin, arterial, warm. It pooled along the baseboards and soaked into the floor. I touched it. My fingers came away red, and when I leaned in close, it whispered something I didn't want to understand. I've been hearing whispers ever since. Not from the blood, from the walls. I think the house is listening. Not just listening. Thinking. It's reacting to me now, rearranging things. My chair was on the ceiling for an hour this afternoon. I turned away, turned back, and there it was, legs anchored to the plaster like they belonged there. When I tried to pull it down, it vanished, reappeared 5 feet to the left. I sat in it anyway. You can't show fear, not even to furniture. The attic is open again, wide this time. I found the ladder stretched all the way down, touching the floor. The air above it feels wrong, thick, charged, like static and incense and spoiled meat. I haven't gone up. I won't. But I think something came down. There's mud on the kitchen tile now. Footprints. Too small to be mine. Bare. Childlike. One set. Pacing. I followed them as far as I could. They ended at the basement door. Then turned around. Back and forth. Back and forth. A loop. I still haven't opened the basement. But I think it's open anyway. I nailed it shut again 3 days ago. And yesterday, I found every nail on the kitchen table, arranged in the shape of an eye. It knows I know. So I speak. I speak until my throat bleeds, until my words are cracked and stinging. I speak because silence is surrender. If you're still tuned in, if the signal's making it through, this is all I can give you now. Language, not facts, not hope, just a sound that hasn't given in. I was wrong before when I said it wants to become you. It doesn't. It wants to undo you, to rewind your voice, unthread your bones, dissolve your outline until even the shadows forget you were ever there. That's why I broadcast. Because when I'm speaking, I'm real. I'm here. So I'll keep speaking. Even if all I have left are broken words and bleeding hands. Even if my own name starts to taste like metal. Even if the thing in the basement starts speaking back. I'm still Malcolm Drake. Still transmitting. Still climbing, even if the stairs lead nowhere. I heard someone laughing in the forest today. Not close, not loud, but clear, real. And it wasn't the high-pitched, bone-dry laughter I've come to expect from the things that stalk the tree line. No, this was human, warm even. Like someone just heard a good joke for the first time in weeks and couldn't hold it in. I stood on the back porch for a long time, just listening. The laughter would stop, then start again, always the same cadence, same breath. It never got closer, never got further, just stayed, still, looping like a memory that didn't want to be forgotten. I almost called out, God. I almost called out, but I didn't. I clenched my jaw so tight I felt something pop, because I know better now. I know how it plays. The mimicry is evolving. It doesn't just copy sounds. It captures moments. Moments that matter. I laughed like that once. I remember the exact night. I was 19. A porch swing. a girl named Hallie who talked with her hands and laughed through her teeth. We made up stories about the stars until dawn, and I swore I'd remember that feeling forever. And now it's out there, in the woods, wearing my past like bait. This thing, whatever's behind all of this, it's not random. It's intimate. It knows what you ache for. It knows how to dress up memory and offer it back to you like candy. But it's not a gift. It's a hook. And if you bite, it reels you in. I haven't spoken to anyone in, I don't know, time's meaningless, but long enough that I've started imagining conversations. Sometimes I hear a knock and I almost answer it, hoping it's just someone lost, a stranger, a person. But there are no strangers anymore, only copies, only things with familiar voices and eyes that don't blink right. I saw one yesterday, middle of the road, dusk, just standing, her back to me, wearing jeans and a flannel. Looked just like my neighbor's daughter, Lacey. She moved like her, swayed like her, even scratched her arm the same way Lacey used to do when she was nervous. I watched from the upstairs window. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. Then she turned, and her face was gone. Not burned, not bloody, just smooth, blank, like wet paper. She didn't move again. She didn't have to, because the moment I saw that face, or lack of it, I felt something pulling behind my eyes, like my own face was starting to forget how to exist. I dropped to the floor, covered my head, bit my lip until I tasted blood. She was gone when I looked back, but the carpet where I stood was damp, and it smelled like peppermint, just like Lacey used to. This is what it does. It blends the beautiful with the terrifying. It doesn't want to scare you away. It wants to seduce you. It wants you to say, what if? Just once. Just enough. Because curiosity is a kind of welcome. The walls are whispering again, not words, just vibrations. I press my palm against the plaster, and it feels like something's breathing behind it. Inhale, exhale, slow, patient. There's a crack forming in the ceiling above the basement door. A long one. It gets wider every day. It doesn't follow the lines of the drywall. It curves, spirals, like it's being drawn. I tried to patch it once. The plaster fell off in sheets. Underneath the crack was something darker. Not mold, not rot. A surface, smooth, glass-like. I think the house is growing a mirror. I covered it with a blanket. The blanket keeps falling off. I nailed it down. Still falls off. I've stopped trying. There's something else, something I haven't said yet, because I didn't want to believe it. But it's time. The voice I've been broadcasting with? I'm not sure it's mine anymore. I've played back the tapes, listened late into the night, headphones tight, candle low. And there are things in my tone I don't recognize, inflections that aren't how I speak, words I don't remember using, phrases that feel foreign in my mouth. But they're in the tapes. I hear myself say them. And worse, sometimes, when I don't speak, I still hear the broadcast continue. Like something has taken the gaps and filled them in for me. A false Malcolm, an echo. I don't know when it started. I don't know how it started. But I know what it means. It means I'm not alone in here anymore. It means the tower has two voices now, and one of them isn't me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this next part. Physically. On paper. I'll read it once. Only once. On air. So that if it ever repeats again, If you ever hear it a second time, you'll know it's not me. You'll know I've been copied, and if that happens, shut off your radio. Bury it. Burn it. Don't listen again, because the voice that follows mine will not be your friend. This may be the last thing I write with certainty. I don't mean that in a poetic way. I mean it in the most literal sense. I can still feel myself right now. My hands are mine. My thoughts are mine. My mouth still forms the words I intend it to. But there's something else, closer now, not outside, inside, sitting just behind my tongue like a suggestion that hasn't spoken yet. It doesn't feel like possession. It feels like a shift, like a page slowly turning without my permission. I've kept the windows boarded. I've kept the basement sealed. I haven't spoken to another living soul in, hell, who knows how long anymore. The only voices I've heard are my own, and the ones that mimic it. Last night, I caught one. I don't know what else to call it. A mimic. An echo. A rehearsal of me. It was in the kitchen. I walked in to grab the last of the water from the filter barrel, and there it was, standing in front of the fridge. Same building, same hair, wearing my coat. The one I lost 2 weeks ago when I went to check the transmission cables, and the wind took it clean off the hook and into the trees. I never found it. But now it was back, and wearing it was me. At least, what looked like me. It didn't turn. It didn't flinch. It just stood there, still, like a painting, a reflection caught where no mirror should be. I asked it, soft, steady, "What's your name?" It smiled, but only on the left side. And then, in my voice, it said, "I remember the way Hallie used to laugh." The breath left my body. My knees almost buckled. That's how I knew. It wasn't just copying my appearance. It had started copying my memories. I stepped back. I didn't look away. Not for a second. It didn't chase. Didn't speak again. It just lifted one hand and placed it over its chest, right over the heart. And then it said, "You're almost done, Malcolm. You can come with us now." United States. That word broke something. I slammed the studio door behind me, locked it twice, moved the shelf in front of it, lit every candle, turned on the radio, let the feedback scream until I couldn't think. But I still heard it whispering in the walls. "Come with us. Come with us. Come with us." I think I know what's happening now. They're not trying to take over. They're trying to merge, to overwrite my voice until I can't remember where I end and they begin. And once that happens, I'll be a transmitter, a permanent one, a living broadcast of something older than words. The spiral on the wall above the basement door is complete now. It wasn't a crack, it was a carving. Not by human hands. It glows faintly in the dark, pulses like a second heart. I keep my eyes down when I pass it, because every time I look at it, I feel something inside me swell, not in fear, in recognition. I think I used to know whatever made it, and that scares me more than anything, because that means this isn't just a thing that arrived. It's a thing we forgot, or maybe something we locked away. And maybe I'm part of that lock. Or worse, maybe I was the key. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Can't. Every time I try, the food moves, crawls, sings. I found a jar of peanut butter, and when I opened it, there were teeth inside. Not human, not animal, just teeth, sitting upright like a mouth waiting to be fed. I threw it outside, heard it land, heard it open again. I haven't gone near the windows since. The air inside the studio is getting heavy, not stale, heavy, like it's being compressed. I can feel it pressing down on my ribs, my temples, behind my eyes, like something wants to flatten me into the floor. I sleep on the wall now. I know how that sounds, but it's true. The floor doesn't trust me anymore. The nails work in the ceiling. Gravity's a suggestion. I haven't looked at the sky in a while. Not since I saw it blinking. Not clouds. Not lightning. Just one long, slow blink. And I knew then that the thing above us isn't a sky. It's a lid. And something is unscrewing it. I'm going to read one last name tonight. Just one. Because that's all I have left. It's the name I was saving. The one I didn't want to say. But maybe it matters. Maybe it's the anchor that holds me in place. Maybe it's what keeps the real Malcolm Drake from fading completely. Her name was Hallie Kent. Brown hair, sharp elbows, a voice like worn-out denim. She once made me laugh so hard I snorted orange soda through my nose. She painted her fingernails black, but always chipped them within a day. She kissed me behind a bowling alley while, running up that hill, played from someone's car radio. She said I made her feel real. I wonder if I still am. If you're out there, if anyone's still out there, remember one thing tonight. It doesn't win when you scream. It doesn't win when you run. It wins when you forget. So speak. Write. Breathe. Bleed if you have to. But don't go quiet. I'm Malcolm Drake, still transmitting. For now. I didn't speak at all yesterday. First time I've gone silent since this whole thing began. Not a word, not a whisper, not even a breath loud enough to echo. I sat in the corner of the studio, back to the wall, knees up, mouth shut, eyes fixed on the mic like it might come alive. And maybe it did. Because even though I didn't say a single thing, the tape was rolling. And when I played it back, it was full of my voice. Clear, steady, like I never left the chair. I said things I don't remember thinking, things I wouldn't say, not even in dreams, and not in any order I understand. Phrases like, "We already climbed down, we just forgot the rope," or, "The first name is the loudest, but the last one burns." And most disturbing, "We buried the sun because it saw too much." That one chilled me to the bone, because I remember writing something like that years ago. In a journal I burned. This thing, it doesn't just read the present, it scavenges the past. It finds what we meant to throw away, and it resurrects it, twists it into warnings, wraps it in your own voice so you'll believe it came from within. I spent the whole night trying not to think, trying not to feel. I stared at the wall and counted the cracks, over and over, like the repetition might stitch me back together. The problem is, I don't know if I'm stitched right anymore. I shaved this morning, not because I needed to, but because I needed to see my own face again. Not the version I remember, the version that's here, in the mirror, with my hands, with trembling fingers and eyes too bloodshot to lie. But when I was done, I looked down. The sink was dry. No hair, no blood, no proof I'd touched anything. And when I looked back up, my reflection smiled. I didn't. It did. Teeth and all. So I smashed the mirror. Again, That makes 6 now. And still, I see myself in places I shouldn't. Polished wood, the blank TV screen, a puddle on the floor that wasn't there the moment before. Always me, always smiling. Like it's happy I'm breaking. I haven't mentioned the song yet. I didn't want to, but it's time. It started a few nights ago, a melody. No lyrics, just a slow, rising sequence of 5 notes. Simple, sad, familiar. Like something from a lullaby your mother sang before you were old enough to understand nightmares. It plays from the vents, from the outlets, from the damn static when I turn the mic off. Always the same. 5 notes, rising, then silence. And I know I've heard it before. Not here, not in this life, but somewhere. It comes in dreams now too. Only in the dreams, it's not just notes. There are words. I wake up before I can catch more than a few syllables, but they linger like smoke. I wrote down the last one I caught. We built this house on your breath. I think that means something. I think this isn't just haunting or invasion. It's birth, a kind of inverse creation. Something building itself out of us. Our sounds, our memories, our shadows. And the more we fear it, the stronger it gets. So I'm not afraid anymore. I'm angry. Because if this thing thinks it can take my voice, my signal, without a fight, it doesn't know what it tuned into. I am the last voice on 107.3 FM, and I will scream into the dark until the dark screams back. Here's what I've learned. You can write this down if you want. You probably should. 1. If you hear your own voice coming from somewhere you're not standing, leave immediately. 2. If something offers you peace, love, or reunion without asking anything of you, run. Third mirrors lie, always. They show what you could become, not what you are. 4. Your name is a doorway. Only speak it when you mean it. 5. The attic and the basement are the same room. Don't ask me to explain that one. Just believe it. Oh, and 6. Never, under any circumstance, hum the melody out loud. I made that mistake yesterday. Just a hum. Quiet. Absent-minded. 4 notes and a half the 5th. The radio exploded. Actual fire. Smoke. Sparks. Like it couldn't contain what I'd said. I rebuilt the transmitter. Again. I'll keep rebuilding it until I die. Because this is my job. This is my war. And as long as I've got breath, I'll make sure you don't forget how to be you. I don't care if I've been copied. I don't care if I'm half infected. I don't care if every other voice in this world is already speaking backwards. I'm Malcolm Drake, and I'm still on the air.